It was 2:07 a.m. when I woke to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand. 3 missed calls from Liam. 7 unread texts. Babe, I can explain, please pick up. You don't understand what you saw. The thing was, I hadn't seen anything. Not yet. Those words were a confession in themselves. My stomach twisted, and I sat there in bed, staring at the glow of my phone like it was a grenade. Liam and I had been together for almost 3 years. We met during my final year of university. Him, charming and funny, me, guarded but slowly letting my walls down. He worked in marketing, traveled a lot for client meetings, and I had always been proud of how much I trusted him, but trust feels a lot like standing barefoot on glass. You don't notice the cuts until you see the blood. I wasn't always paranoid. In fact, for the first 2 years, Liam gave me no reason to doubt him. But about 6 months ago, things began to shift. He became busier. More work trips. Shorter replies to my texts. Less eye contact when we talked. And then there were the small things, the way he'd put his phone face down, how his shirts would smell faintly of perfume that wasn't mine, or how he'd come home late, humming with a strange energy, claiming he'd just been networking. It wasn't a single red flag. It was a field of them. 2 weeks before that 2 a.m. call, we were at a cafe near my apartment. His phone buzzed. He flipped it over quickly, almost like muscle memory. I teased, "What's the big secret?" He smiled too fast. "Just work stuff, babe." It wasn't just work stuff. I'd seen the name Elena flash on the screen. I didn't know an Elena. I pushed it out of my mind. I told myself, don't be that girlfriend. But the truth? When your gut whispers, it's usually not lying. That night, the 2:07 a.m. night, I didn't call him back right away. Instead, I sat there replaying the past month. The cancelled dinner dates. The unreturned calls. That time he said he was in Dubai for work, but the tagged photo I found on Instagram placed him in a rooftop bar in our city, with someone's perfectly manicured hand resting a little too close to his. At 2:12 a.m., curiosity burned hotter than fear. I called him back. He answered on the first ring. "Babe, thank God. I need to explain." "Explain what?" I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. There was a pause, the kind where you can hear someone scrambling for a lie. "You might see some pictures online. They don't mean anything. It was just pictures." My blood went cold. "What pictures?" "Promise me you won't jump to conclusions," he said, his voice trembling slightly. I didn't wait for him to send them. I went looking. It didn't take long. One of my friends, Priya, was still awake. I messaged her, "Have you seen anything about Liam tonight?" 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a link, Instagram. A mutual acquaintance's story. There was Liam, my Liam, sitting at a dimly lit table in what looked like an upscale bar. Across from him, a woman with long black hair and a silk dress leaned forward, her hand over his. In the next slide, they were kissing. Not a drunken, sloppy kiss. A slow, deliberate one, the kind you don't give unless you mean it. When you see proof like that, you don't cry right away. At least, I didn't. I stared at my phone until the images blurred. He was still talking in my ear. Something about being drunk, about how she kissed me first, about how it was nothing. I hung up. For the next 2 days, I didn't respond to his calls. He showed up at my apartment once, banging on the door for 10 minutes before finally leaving. My roommate, Kayla, looked at me and said, "You're not letting him get away with this, are you?" And that's when the idea started to take shape. Revenge isn't about rage. It's about precision. Liam was the kind of man who thrived on image, polished Instagram feed, curated, business casual outfits, the perfect gentleman in public. His career in marketing depended on people seeing him as trustworthy and likable. So I decided to take that from him. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to slash his tires or send angry texts. No, I wanted to break him in the one place he'd never see coming, his reputation. Step 1, information. I started small. I reached out to Priya, who knew a lot of his friends. Turns out, Elena was a new hire at his company. She'd been on 3 business trips with him in the last month. Step 2, proof. I gathered screenshots, the Instagram story, tagged posts, even a few flirty comment threads between him and Elena from weeks back. Kayla helped me organize everything into a neat little folder titled Liam's Greatest Hits. Step 3, the perfect audience. Liam's company had a monthly client relationship newsletter sent to dozens of business partners. They also had a group Slack channel with his whole marketing team, something I knew about because I'd once helped him prepare a presentation. The following Friday, his company was hosting their annual networking gala. Liam had invited me months ago. I hadn't RSVP'd yet. So, I messaged the event coordinator, whose email was conveniently listed on the public invite page, and confirmed I'd be attending as his partner. I wore the most stunning dress I owned, a deep emerald green that made my skin glow. The kind of dress that says I'm unshaken. When I arrived, Liam's smile faltered. He came over, whispering urgently, "What are you doing here?" Supporting my boyfriend, I said sweetly. Why? Am I not welcome? Before he could answer, I spotted Elena across the room, her hand resting casually on a champagne flute. Her eyes met mine for a brief, sharp second. I waited until the speeches ended and the mingling began. Then, I approached one of the senior partners, a silver-haired man who seemed to like Liam. With my warmest smile, I said, "Hi, I'm Liam's girlfriend. I just wanted to thank the company for making me feel so welcome. I've actually put together a little highlight reel of Liam's recent client engagements. Thought it might be fun to share with the team." He seemed intrigued. "Oh? I'm sure everyone would love to see it." 5 minutes later, on the giant projector screen that had just been showing slides of quarterly achievements, my curated collection appeared. The Instagram story. The bar kiss. The tagged photos. A screenshot of him calling Elena the best part of any business trip. The room went silent. Then the whispers began. Liam stood frozen, his face pale. "Turn it off," he barked at someone, but it was too late. The damage was done. I walked up to him, handed him a USB drive, and said quietly, "This is the last message I'll ever send you." Then I left, heels clicking against the marble floor, every step lighter than the last. By the next day, he'd deleted his Instagram. A week later, Kayla told me he'd been temporarily suspended while HR conducted an internal review into his professional conduct. Elena? She quit 2 weeks later. Moved to another city, according to LinkedIn. Liam tried texting me once after that, just one word, "Why?" I didn't respond. Because the answer was simple: sometimes, sweet revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about making sure they can't hurt you, or anyone else, again.